Andie.
And it's Raisa.
And this is the Moody Love Club podcast. And today we are talking about yin yoga.
Yay!
Yay! So right before this, Raisa led me through a yin yoga class. It was my first yin yoga class, I believe, ever. I've done yoga a few times, but I'm not too familiar with the different classes or just all knowledge about it. But yeah, so it was really interesting. I mean, I have a lot to say about my experience.
Yeah, and I really want to hear about it too. That's the funnest part about it for me.
Yeah, but first, can we just generally say what yin yoga is?
Sure. So everything you know about yoga, yin's kind of the opposite, let's say. I'm not allowed to say that other forms of yoga are yang. But in yin yoga, basically, we still use yoga philosophy, but we incorporate Chinese medicine as well. So we're working with the meridian lines within our bodies. What does that mean? So in Chinese medicine, we believe that every organ is connected to a certain energy line or an energy center that flows within our body that carries chi or energy life force. And with yin yoga, what we're doing is we're stretching certain parts of our body, and especially the fascia. That's kind of like our elastic suit that sits just underneath our skin, and also it surrounds every organ, to kind of target these meridians and balance out the chi in our system and in our body. So there's that, but we're also working with obviously the chakras. So we're opening up chakras, and it's basically all about movement of energy and releasing stagnant energy that's stuck in our body, I would say. Personally, that's how I see it. But yeah, on a more physical aspect, it's really about stretching the fascia and stretching the deeper layers of the muscles.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are chakras?
Ooh.
Because I hear that a lot.
Okay.
And I'm yeah, sure, I know what that is. I really don't know what it is.
Okay, so chakras are more the energy centers in our body from the, I'm going to say, Indian philosophy.
Okay.
And we have 7 of them.
Okay.
So we've got the root chakra, which sits at the base of our spine.
Okay.
And then we've got the sacral, which is just below the belly button.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got the solar plexus, which is above the belly button, I guess. The heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. And they also hold energy within our body. And there is a way to allow energy to flow better between all the chakras, and then you kind of feel more centered. Okay. So often, if there's an imbalance in one chakra, I'm not going to say that, it's chakra. An imbalance in one chakra, then you're more likely to have an imbalance in all of them. But it's also very common that your chakras are never really fully balanced, but what you want is that you're living a comfortable life. And often you can tell, I don't know, let's say the sacral chakra, it goes off balance when you're feeling feelings of guilt. The solar plexus goes off balance when you're feeling feelings of shame. And there are breathing techniques that you can use, and obviously asanas or yoga poses that you can use to kind of bring them back into balance. But I think the chakras also need some inner reflection and inner work, so that you, I don't know, kind of become aware of where your problems are and how you can kind of just bring more balance back into your life.
Yeah, because know that it does. Yeah. I remember we had this conversation before. I think you said, or we were talking, and you're when you're really sad or something, where do you feel pain the most?
Yeah, I asked you that before. Yeah,
and I was just literally my chest, my heart area.
And that's where grief sits. So each of them have their demons, and grief sits in the heart quite.
Yeah, and I was just it's not something I never think about.
Yeah.
I think of general anxiety and depression as, my whole body is feeling something.
So I would say then all the chakras are a little bit off.
Yeah.
Which is yeah, I feel like that's a norm if you are depressed or anxious, you know.
Yeah, but it's interesting to know like that certain spots hold different energies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, that's really cool. I'll say honestly, I have never really been the yoga type of person.
Frankly, me neither.
I can't believe that.
Me
I
neither.
Literally, that's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a complete
no,
lie.
I promise you. So I've been very spiritual in my life.
Yeah, me too.
Right? But yoga, yin yoga, I never liked yoga, but yin yoga came to me when I did a workout class. I think we've talked about this. I did a workout and I just needed to stretch my butt.
Okay.
And I read the description and it was like, oh, we're just stretching basically muscles. And then I did the class and I was like, I feel really good. I think I'm going to go back again because it was so relaxing. And I feel like I was so caught up in all of these thoughts. And it was in that class that I was like, you know what? This is really nice. Like, I feel chill.
Yeah.
This is good. And that's when I started kind of going towards the yogic roots. And the only reason that I know about like more of this yogic lifestyle is because I'm obviously studying and training to be a yin yoga instructor. And in the classes we have to read about it and do a lot of inner work in order to become better teachers.
Okay, that makes sense.
For our students.
No, that's great. Oh, that's wow. I can't believe I've always pictured you as like, this is like what you were born to do. Like, you're just so spiritual in that way.
Thank you.
Like, your personality is just, like, your aura carries that.
Oh.
So I was like, there's no way. Because I feel like sometimes, and yeah, I believe in astrology. And so I'm a Cancer, so I'm a water sign. That's like stereotypical, very emotional type of zodiac sign. I am very emotional. I cry over anything, everything. But I also, at first when I was growing up, crying was just something shameful, right? Like when you're a kid, it's like, oh, she's crying. She's a baby. But now it's something I feel more open about doing.
Yeah.
It's almost so normal for me, and I don't know, I feel really good after I cry.
I also think the narrative is changing where expressing your feelings is seen as a strength rather than a weakness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And especially, we talked about this last time, like for men as well. Like I see you as like a really, like your masculinity is really strong when you can be vulnerable in that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is just like, I love that. I think even though I am emotional, and I like to think I'm pretty open in general about what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. There was like part of me during our class that didn't want to cry or didn't want to like feel all these feelings. So I went into this class thinking, cool, I'm just going to stretch a lot, and I hear people cry, like, cool, that's great. That's probably not going to be me today, because, you know, whatever. And literally, like, 4 minutes into the class, I was
first
just like...
pose.
Yeah. So what pose was that? That's just, like,
so it's
literally
called...
just, like, child's pose or something, right?
No, it's the butterfly.
Okay.
In the butterfly pose, you're basically doing a forward fold. But what I explained to Andie was... Forward folds are very inward. They're very meditative. They help you go deeper into yourself. And they're very relaxing. And what I explained was when you are sitting on your mat, meditating, or in a pose like this, especially in the beginning of a class, your body suddenly realizes, I'm relaxing.
Okay.
And when you're relaxing, you're able to let go of whatever you're holding on to. It doesn't matter what it is. And sometimes that comes out in the form of tears.
Yeah.
And crying, or it's some type of energy that's just like releasing, basically, that you've been holding on to, you know?
Yeah, but I guess so. That's like, that makes sense. But what about when you take naps or go to sleep? Aren't you relaxing then? Do you, like, how, I guess what I'm trying to say is, how come that was so powerful compared to when I just go to sleep at night?
I wish I could tell you. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess.
Is there like certain parts of your body you're stretching that you were saying that holds certain energies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for sure. So every meridian line is connected to a different emotion.
Okay.
I can't recall. I think it's the small intestine, the one that you stretch in the butterfly pose or any forward fold. But I'm more knowledgeable about, like, let's say like a glute stretch.
Okay.
And in glute stretches, you're stretching like the gallbladder meridian, and that is connected to anger.
Okay.
So sometimes when you're sitting in these positions, sometimes you're like, oh, why am I feeling this way?
Yeah.
And I remember, I was telling you this also during the class. We were doing a shoelace asana. And that's a glute stretch. And I was doing it I was stretching the right glute. And I just kept having these like angry thoughts. And then eventually the teacher explained, like, it's connected to the gallbladder and it can bring out feelings of anger, thoughts of anger. And then I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. No wonder.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do bring out certain emotions. And as I said, all these meridian lines are about moving like stagnant energy, right? And what are emotions? It's just energy in motion.
I never. Is that did you make that up? Or
no,
is that why
that's
it's
a thing.
called? Oh
yeah, that's a thing.
Another mind boggle. Okay. Wow. Okay. Emotions. Got it.
Yeah. There you go.
No, it was really cool. I think there are things you were saying. Well, so that's the one thing I said at first is that, so one, we were doing that butterfly pose, and at first I was just like, I think you're saying, like, think of what your intentions are for the class, or like who you,
in the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was just thinking of that, and I guess at first I was like, or you said something along the lines of, who do you want to, like,
if you'd like to dedicate
this class to someone.
Somebody you can, yeah.
And I immediately thought of, like, all the people I know right now kind of going through it, which is actually a lot of people at this moment. Mercury's in retrograde, FYI. Mercury's microwaving really badly. So I immediately thought of that, and then I don't know, it was really weird because then I started to see, like, my life, but like me watching me. So instead of like me watching me cry, like, I'm watching myself cry, I'm watching myself like be angry. I never really, and even when I dream, I never see myself in a dream. I'm always like that person in a dream. So I don't know, I started to see myself like really negatively, and
during the butterfly pose.
Yeah, and then I stopped thinking of that, and I thought I was fine for however long it felt, like 2 minutes. I stopped thinking of it completely, and then I cried. And so I was just like, why am I crying? Because even though I was thinking about that 2 minutes prior, I did go into some kind of peace in my mind where there were no thoughts. It was just quiet and just like immediately like crying.
Yeah. And
I was like, damn, why did I wear makeup?
I know.
But yeah, no, I started crying and I was really confused about it. And I don't know, it's just amazing to me, I guess. Because I think I went into it not even thinking that would happen.
No, yeah.
I think I've always been like a little skeptical of just different forms of meditation. I think meditation does work, not just because of this class. I've done stuff before, but there have been other yoga classes I've taken where, I don't know, it's either the energy of the class or myself, but I can't take myself seriously in it, or I'm in the mood of like, I don't want to be here. Everyone here is
and you kind of went into that space. You said it like afterwards. You're like, I'm not sure if I want to do this.
Yeah, literally, because when I started crying, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this today.
Yeah, it's confronting.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
when it happens, and it's also shocking when you don't expect it, I feel.
It is, and I feel like the first part of the class I was like still really like emotional, and then it it phased out.
Yeah.
And I became more...
But I also noticed that you were regulating yourself.
Yeah.
Which is very important, I feel, in any yoga class, that you know what to do with your own body. And that's when you take over, because you know yourself better than the yoga teacher will ever know yourself.
Yeah.
So that's why I mentioned, like, your eyes were open for most of it. And a lot of yoga teachers are like, oh, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
You should close your eyes so that you can go deeper. But I'm like, sometimes that's just too much.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And we've been taught that, especially because this is functional yoga. We're not looking at the aesthetic of it, nothing. Like, we're really like, how does this benefit you, your body, and your individual self?
Yeah.
You know, so I thought that was really good that you did that.
I'm glad you thought that was good.
Yeah.
And I can see why other yoga teachers say the other thing, like close your eyes and whatever. But I think that was also part of me not wanting to let go of myself and like be more vulnerable.
But maybe you weren't ready today, and that's fine.
Absolutely. I was definitely not ready for that today. No. And that's the reason, yes, you're right. That's the reason why like my eyes were open, kind of just focusing on different spots on the ceiling. And that like, I think also just helped for the rest of the class for me. Otherwise, I would have just like crying the whole entire class.
And that would have been fine too if you needed that today. But I think you clearly didn't want that. And that's fine.
I think though, and maybe this is just because we're friends, but I don't want to cry like that in front of you.
You can though, right?
I know that. But like, I think it's different when you're with a stranger who maybe is used to this from other clients, and there's no like connection, because like you said, it's a very intimate thing to do it one-on-one. I would
say, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And I think about my friends, and like, I don't like worrying my friends, you know? So it's like, I think that's why I didn't want to like cry more in front of you.
But I think as a yoga teacher, I'm able to have that distinction between like friend and yoga teacher.
Which is why I was like, I expected you to be, but like you were very like really great. Like you're very professional. I felt like you were my teacher and not just like my friend. So that was cool. Yeah, no, nice. Seriously. Because I was so amazed at like you and the class and just like me, like what happened and what came out. Yeah, but I think what I was trying to say earlier is that I'm usually really open. So I don't know why I felt like I had to hold back, I guess, today. Or not just today. I think there's a lot of things I do hold back, I guess, which I just never think about, because I think
that's possible.
I am pretty open. I am very openly emotional. But I don't know why there's a lot of other things I hold back, I suppose. But yeah, no.
I also think the class can be quite somatic, right? So if we are like forcing energies to move out, maybe, yeah, that's why you're not realizing that this is somewhere in your system.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's just a way to kind of reflect and self-reflect and become a little more aware of maybe where you need to give a little more attention to. So you were saying that you started feeling did you say not good enough or something, like some self-hatred kind of came up?
Yeah, or I guess just like, yeah, so self-hatred. I think I was just seeing myself being so mean to myself, like being really hard on myself, like, you know, you didn't do that well enough, you're not doing good at work, or like you're not making enough money, you're not making your parents proud, or whatever. And I think that's when I like started to cry.
Yeah.
Because I started to like, yeah.
And I think like yoga in itself is physical, but when you can start making these realizations on
my foot is asleep, sorry.
When you can start making these realizations on your own, that's the magic of it.
So I was thinking about this during class. This is like therapy.
But you're at your own, it's cheaper and it's your own.
So I was literally thinking that too, where it's like it's cheaper.
And these are things you can do on your own, but that's why like these chakra centers, that's why I said like it can be a physical thing. You can use breath work and all these stuff to kind of clear that energy there. But you have to be doing the inner work. Like, so we look at things in a very like, we get journal prompts and to reflect on how can we add more love into this chakra or this chakra, whatever.
Like in your class or
Yeah.
your certification?
Yeah.
Okay. In other classes too, that aside from the certification class, but like, could I go to a class and they would...
No.
No? Okay,
No.
so this is for your certification.
This is really... Well, it's
Yeah.
not really for my certification,
But it's just for
really
you to become, yes, what
better,
you were saying, a
and
better
more,
teacher. Yeah.
more self-aware.
More aware, yes.
Yeah. And,
okay.
But I think I could also give that knowledge to whoever wants to learn about it.
Oh, totally.
You know,
yeah.
that you can do this on your own, but obviously it takes a certain type of discipline, and there's enough resources out there to learn about the chakras. I mean, this is like an ancient teaching. It's been around for years and years and years, right?
Yeah.
So there's way beyond enough information out there for you to learn on how to help yourself
Yeah.
be better and love yourself and add more love to these parts of your body that clearly kind of neglect on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I am the type of person who does benefit, though, from a teacher or a class.
A guide.
Because, yeah, someone who could guide me. Because I talk about this with running. Like, mentally, I can talk myself out of doing it. And be like, I don't need to today. Or, like, I'll do it tomorrow or something. But to set the intention of I'm going in today to do this for me and to see if I can, like, release any bad energy. That's not something that'll come easy for me. I think I don't prioritize it. That's the issue. I'm just kind of like, oh, that's a later problem. There's so many other things I have to do right now. I have to go take care of my dog, rush to work, whatever.
Don't get me wrong, like I have that issue too, even with these journal prompts.
Yeah.
You know, like in my own growth, I really struggled. I got stuck in the second chakra, in the sacral.
Which is like, what is that?
So the demon is guilt.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I got stuck there, and I couldn't go further. As in, I didn't even want to tap into the other parts.
Other ones, yeah.
Because I got so honed in on, like, that area of my body, and, like, how can I add more love to it? Like, I was really struggling, and it took me a while. It took me maybe 2 months before I could finally move on to the next one and really start reflecting on, like,
wow,
the next one. Yeah.
That's just, like...
And so it's your own journey, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense as to why you were like taking what you can handle today, like so good at being good at regulating yourself. Yeah, it's interesting. No, I think it's really cool. I had a good experience with this. Yeah. I will say I've had kind of bad experiences before.
In what way? I'd like to understand that. Like,
yeah.
What is a bad yoga experience? Because I've not really done any other types of yoga. Like, I did maybe when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I did vinyasa, but...
Is that the one that you do the same movements, like, over and...
Like the sun salutations and
yeah.
stuff? I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
I used to go to Yoga to the People. Have you ever heard of that? And maybe it's just an American thing, but basically it's a kind of donation-based yoga class, which was kind of nice. So, you know, for those who can't really afford to go to these other classes, it was nice to go. And I'd go with my friend. It was like, I went into it thinking of it as a nice stretch.
Yeah.
A nice... Like, as an athlete, like you said, athletes don't really stretch.
No.
And it's
not
true.
Enough.
It's so true.
Not enough.
And so I thought, okay, I should actually really stretch. I'm going to go intentionally to this class to do that. I never really got to see it as something emotional or spiritual. And I think, okay, maybe towards the end of the class, the instructor would say, like, one spiritual thing of, you know, like, what do you have to let go of today? I don't know, something like that. And that's when I'd feel a little something. But I don't know, maybe it's the hater in me who just felt like people around were, like, being really extra about it. And I was like, there's no way you guys are all, like, inhaling and exhaling like that normally. You guys are just being really loud. And you don't... I don't know. See, it felt like for show, But it probably wasn't.
No,
like,
it probably wasn't.
You know, but I think it's also because in my mind, I haven't connected with myself in that way. So I'm just like, there's no way you're exhaling that loud. Like, relax.
Sorry. No, I can relate to that because I used to have a total fear of doing group classes.
I have absolutely a fear now after this. I don't want to... If I didn't want to cry in front of you, someone I know... I don't want to cry in front of, like, a lot of other people.
But, like, see, that's the thing. Like, before, I did. But yin has made me realize that I'm showing up for myself. I'm not showing up for any of these people. I'm really on this mat for me.
Yeah.
And once I started to, like, really see that, every group class that I go to now, I'm like, I really don't care about the other people in this class. Like, I'm here for me. It is my workout. It is my session. And I'm here because I love myself.
Yeah.
That's number one. So I don't care. Like, I will cry. I will cry I think I've cried in almost all of my yin yoga classes. Not the ones that I teach, obviously, but
yeah. We're both crying. Like, I don't know if you guys are okay.
No, but in the ones that I've gone to,
yeah.
For my private self, I've cried in every single one of them. And like, the yoga teacher, like a good yoga teacher, which is why I love my yoga teachers, they know when you're good, you know?
What do you mean?
Like, she's just crying. It's
okay.
They
know when you're okay.
You know?
Yeah,
but we've heard stories, obviously, and experiences of people having panic attacks, and that's when that person needs a little extra attention.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That happened.
Can get pretty strong.
Oh, it can. And I remember we did a yoga nidra workshop. So this is very mental yoga.
Okay.
This is basically staying totally conscious while going through the different stages of sleep.
Okay.
I know. It sounds a lot of woo-woo, but
No. But I just want to understand, like, how do you go through the different stages?
I don't know how, but, like, it works. So it's basically... You're guided through it, and it's basically going through, like, the stages of sleep. So you're, like, awake, and then, like, REM, and then deep sleep, and basically playing with those states of consciousness. But what do you mean?
Are you just... What position are you in?
You're sleeping. You're in shavasana. You're lying down.
Okay.
You're chilling. You're making sure that you have something at the back of your head because your head gets really heavy, so you get this, like, pain at this spot in your head. Mm-hmm. And I remember, so we did that workshop, and I remember, like, the energy after the class, everyone was just a little bit off.
Okay.
Everyone. Myself included. So I'll just talk about what I experienced. I had severe anxiety afterwards.
Oh.
Where I kept thinking, oh my God, everyone's judging me. I am a freak that I'm feeling this way. And then I came home, like, took magnesium, ashwagandha, had like a mushroom latte that was full of ashwagandha in it because I was just like, I need to chill the fuck out. Like, I'm not okay. I am not on Earth right now in some other realm. And the next day, we all kind of had a sharing session, and everyone felt the same way. Or not everyone, but like majority of the people were not feeling great after the session.
But is that an okay thing to feel?
No. So that's why the teacher came back and spoke to us to explain to us perhaps what we were experiencing. Sometimes it's like you kind of get stuck in the dream state, let's say. Yeah. So it's like that state where you've just woken up, and sometimes you get stuck in there, and that can feel very ungrounding.
Okay.
And she thinks that's kind of where we all kind of navigated towards, and maybe also, you know, I mean, this was when the whole war was kind of blowing up. A lot of things were happening politically in the Netherlands, which people weren't happy with. So there was like collectively in the room a lot of uneasy energy. And when you're in a group setting, that energy, it really bounces off each other.
Totally.
Yeah. And like, it's funny to say like, that's all just some woo-woo shit, but really other people's energy affects you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you're freaking out, I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like, easy to happen.
It's easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sorry, would you say that teacher still did a good job?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I think, her guidance was great, her explanation of everything, and it's great that she came back to explain to us. And she's a very skilled and experienced yoga nidra teacher.
Yeah.
So I would not fault her. I think it was sometimes that just happens,
Yeah. I think that can be scary though.
Yeah, it was.
Because
it was.
If for someone, I don't know, to go in thinking that they're gonna try and meditate and feel relaxed, but they go home feeling really anxious and heavy.
But sometimes that happens because you start, I don't know, hearing the blood in your body or something. I mean, it's so overwhelming to just sit down and not hear, I don't know, or, just turn your head off. Mm-hmm. It can be confronting. And that's why I think yin yoga, if you're doing it in the beginning, we always say it's very normal that crying just happens.
Yeah.
In the first few maybe months of you doing it.
But I think, and I don't think I'm alone in this, but there are people like myself who don't want to feel that. Even, I know I should. I know I should do it and let it out and be more open and vulnerable with my own self, to myself, but I don't, like you said with the regulating earlier, I don't think I'm ready for that. So I feel like stuff like that can shy people away, turn people away.
Of course, because it's confronting, but I think when they're ready, then it'll happen, or maybe they'll find another form that helps them release these things that are stuck in their body. I mean, you did acupuncture recently. That is also a way.
Yeah.
Oh,
definitely. And even then... See, I know you're saying that I can learn this stuff, anywhere, online or something. I haven't been able to. I don't know where to look or what I'm even looking for, really. Acupuncture, I still don't even really know what they're doing. I've gone, 3 times now.
It's the same thing same, I guess, concept as yin yoga, where you're
but I guess it's
focusing
just,
on energy centers.
Yeah, but I wish I knew all that info you just gave me. Because for me...
You should ask, while they're doing it, ask.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
What are we targeting?
No, my first experience was here, and this woman, she's like, what's wrong? And I told her what's wrong. I was like, well, I've been having a lot of anxiety. I've been feeling really nauseous. I think a lot of this is due to stress. Getting numbness in my arms, which became really a common symptom for me all of last year. I think it has a lot to do with this neuromuscular disease that I have.
That you were saying.
So it happens a lot when it's really hot or if I'm really stressed. And so I was really stressed. Went to every doctor in America and here, you know what I mean. No one could help me. With the numbness in my arms. It was just crazy. So I was like, why not try acupuncture? I mean, try anything at this point. And so I told her about numbness, and she was like, okay. And I, laid down. She put needles on me and was like, relax, and turned the lights off and left me.
Confronting.
She didn't even tell me how long I was going to be in this position. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I ended up falling asleep, which was, I guess, nice because I ended up relaxing a lot. Then she had me turn over, did a few more needles, stayed in the dark again for however many minutes, not as long as the first. And then after, she's like, okay, you're gonna feel sore, but in 2 days you'll feel better. And I hadn't had numbness since.
Yes.
I was just shocked, really, because I'm thinking I went to so many other doctors and they were just like, no, there's nothing we can really do.
There is something really magical about acupuncture. Even we were talking about this during our training about how labor can be induced by certain acupoints. Yeah, so if the baby's not coming and you're like, I need it to come, you can literally press a certain point and you will go into labor. And one of my classmates was saying, they pressed that point, and I think she said within 3 hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she went into labor. So.
No, I think it's really cool. And I also hope talking about this makes people who are skeptical be a little more open.
Yeah, just try it.
Just to try.
Yeah, you don't have to do it all the time.
There's always this part of me that whenever people told me to meditate, I would get really annoyed. Because I'm just like, well, I've tried it. I went to this yoga class and I didn't have a good time there. So clearly it's not something for me. And I found my own ways of meditating. I was telling you earlier, I really like going into the steam room because it's hot. And
you have to learn to breathe.
Yeah, and I'm freaking out in there. And the only way to calm down, like to not feel panicked, is to literally breathe and like sit there. And yeah, that's almost like my form of meditation, actually. That's like what I go to a lot now because I know what it does for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really nice to know, get in touch with different parts of your body, I guess, that you don't ever think about.
That is another thing. Like, we take a lot of because we're all up here all the time, right?
Yeah.
We're thinking. And it's funny because I wanted to mention this to you, that while you were, I think in your Shavasana, I could see your eye movements.
What is that? What is that?
Oh, like the last pose when you're just resting.
Oh.
After the whole class is done, you go into Shavasana and you're resting.
Yeah.
And I could see your eye movement. You're not the only student that I've had with this rapid eye movement while you're in Shavasana. So it just means that you got a lot up there. You were thinking.
I have a lot up there all the time.
Yeah.
Which is
it's just a lot
really
going
overwhelming.
And that's and I saw that and I was like, honestly, I think doing a lot of yin or more yin would be beneficial for you, because it just takes all that attention up here straight down into whatever muscle you're stretching at that point, and you can really just see it as that. You don't have to take it anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I have had also students who have told me this, that it was the first time in my life that I had silence in my head. And also, I probably mentioned this, Stephanie Fu is an author. She wrote What My Bones Know, which is her journey about CPTSD and how she's kind of healing and recovering from CPTSD. And she mentions in her book that yin yoga was one of the only classes that helped her the mind just went blank.
Yeah.
Especially during like the heart openers, she said.
Yeah.
I didn't do one with you, but yeah, this is basically where you just like opening the front part of your body.
How could your mind go blank?
Because she was feeling her body. It was just taking her into her body, which is something we as a society neglect a lot. We don't listen to our bodies a lot, which is also something that I mentioned in the class, that, you know, we're always pushing, but are we listening to when we need to stop?
Yeah.
Isn't it enough what we're doing? We're breathing, our hearts are beating, there's blood going through our system. Like, we're doing a lot just by sitting here.
But it's interesting because it's one thing to know when to stop and to listen to your body. It's another to actually know how to recover, though. Because for me, I know when, you know, to avoid injuries as a runner, I'm like feeling even the slightest bit of pain. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to be stupid.
Some people don't listen to that.
A lot of people don't listen to that. But even for me,
bam, injury.
Yeah, even for me though, I know that. But okay, so what are you going to do instead? And all I know is really just sleeping. I don't know other things. I don't ever think of going to a yoga class or stretching. Or
like mobility classes are great too.
That's the thing, is that like, but then when you compare it to life, right? Pushing. Not enough people think of, okay, yeah, I should take a yin class. Yeah. I should look into these other areas that I don't. Because it's just not something, I don't know. I think what I don't like, and this is myself included in the past, where people think it's all like woo-woo stuff. Yeah. And I don't like that stigma, because everyone is entitled to their own beliefs. Yeah. But this is also in the people who are like, nah, I'm all about the science.
There is a science
like
in
that.
this. Let me tell you.
There's a literal science in it.
And it's all about anatomy. I have to tell you, like in my class, 80% of it is anatomy, so I know a lot about the human body. Yeah. You know, but I'm also talking about in terms of like work. Like, we push ourselves to burnout nowadays. Why is that?
What's the point of that? Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think this is definitely going to be my new go-to for when I am feeling a little overwhelmed.
Come over, girl. It's free. Come.
Ugh.
It's not free for you guys. It's free for...
No, I'm just be crying the whole time. Oh my god. No, but thank you so much for that class.
Of course.
It was really eye-opening. And I'm always impressed with that with myself because I'm so skeptical of these things. So it's nice to actually feel what other people have been talking about for so long.
I'm glad that it can help you, honestly.
But I think it could help everybody.
Yes.
It's just like,
and that's
it's a matter
why...
of being open to it. And
Yes.
that's something I think is people are not open to enough.
No.
Or just don't also think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. And I mean, that's also the reason why I wanted to teach it. Because when I started doing it, I was like, oh, this feels really good. And then one day I just got a calling, like, you have to share this knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, it's helped me so much to just calm my nervous system down. Mm-hmm. The fact that I have this tool and I know immediately when I go into my fight or flight mode, when nothing is going on in my world, I know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
How amazing is that if like all of us could just like, we get that like intuition, right?
Yeah.
Oh, why am I feeling anxious? There's no reason to be. How can I now not feel the anxiety, right?
Yeah.
How do I calm my body down? And I feel like yin is such a great way. And like, you don't have to do like a whole yin class.
No, yeah.
One of the things is, go straight into butterfly.
Yeah.
Just stay there for like as long as you need.
Yeah.
Then you lie down and you just see the magic of how that works on your body. That has worked on me so beautifully. So I am very grateful that I found this yoga.
Yeah.
that I found yin yoga, that I found two amazing teachers here in the Netherlands that, that have been so great. And I'm very grateful that I found them and they're able to like spread this knowledge to all of us and all of my classmates as well. And that now I also have been given the gift to kind of spread it to everyone else.
Oh, definitely.
Help them help yourselves.
Yeah, exactly. No, thank you so much for that.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. I think is there anything else you want to say about?
Not really. I feel very zen. This was nice.
Yeah.
And it really feels good that it helped you. Like that's the purpose.
Yeah.
That's
the why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad. And yeah, I have a lot I need to work on. I mean, I already knew that, but also this has opened up like, oh shit, I have even more that I didn't realize. But yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yay.
Yeah.
Hugs.
Oh my god, I'm still kind of sore from like the class. This is like my whole leg is asleep.
Oh, probably also because we're sitting on the floor. But
yeah.
We're good. Anyway.
Thanks for listening. I hope you're more open to trying yin yoga.
Or any form of yoga.
Yeah. And you can book her here in Amsterdam. So.
Yeah, like just send me a DM. We can talk.
All right.